Yeah, that's action plan. So basically, so we have aligned with the production team. It means there is a it's a there is a meeting with the procurement, finance, and production quality, and with the engineering about the
Yes.
process automation.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so there we have like the design part. So first we receive the bowsers in particular area. So we collect the water, and in there we do have the documentation part, and we skip that having the digitalized system recording. It means the
Okay.
leaders. So then we get if the quality is rejected, we do have a system to upload it, and we pass the QA acceptance or the rejection. So then we can upload unloaded the coconut water or
Yes.
that thing. So likewise, as we have implemented the it means like with the barcode system and the other system, through a system we are doing the monitoring, and we are reducing the usage of the paper. I think that can also included in that means like identifying the risk and the taking the opportunity out of it, right?
Yeah, that would be classic action plan. See, this is one example. You identify the task, you identify the date, responsibility, you have a Gantt chart, then you can monitor against the Gantt chart whether you are in line as per the action plan. So you have a task, starting point, you have an end point. So if you achieve this action plan, you are like either enhancing your opportunity or either you are reducing your risk. So then you set targets. I hope you got my point. Entire team got my point. Yeah. Now this you got my point, right? What about others? All right. No other. All right. Okay. Team's got. So can you just share some action plan with me now? I'll just share some example with all one. Can others? Can I get some action plan? I hope I'm back in presentation, right? You can see the presentation again. Yeah. So can you share some action plan? I'll give maybe 2 minutes. I think already you started. So this is very important. See, if you can't do action plan, proper action plan, nothing will happen. See, people might say, okay, let's do this particular project on this particular date. Nothing will happen because all are human, right? But moment you set an action plan, put it into documentation, agreed, then like when you have a monthly, weekly meeting, you can take that particular action plan and then run against it. So this particular day, you're supposed to eliminate this system, right? You're supposed to talk to the customer. You're supposed to talk to the service provider and get the outcome. So this is very easy. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Yep. You got it? Tim, can I get one or two action plans? So, earlier you decide, we don't have competency staff. So, how to make your staff competency? That's action plan, right? So, you have a process what are you going to do with this particular area? So, now, say somebody has mentioned university, strategic partnerships. So, Peradeniya University, right now, how many strategic partnership you have? So maybe you can develop action plan. Okay, we are food and technology unit. We need to set strategic partnership with this scope. So end of the year, we need to have at least another 10 universities or another 10 business unit. I need to have a strategic partner. So that's the action plan. So there will be a person who's responsible, like, talk to the people. There should be a person who's like, authorizing communication. Then, top management has to sign off. And what are the benefits you are getting? So this can be one of your action plan. Can I get one or two action plans now? So this is very interesting. Like, if you implement ISO in this way, your ISO system will be very live document, very live system. Because otherwise, if you don't do this in this way, this fashion, you're doing the ISO just for certification, right? So when you set action plan, every month top management is keen to go through your action plan where you are right now. Otherwise, if you don't do that, nothing will happen. Yeah. Can I get one more feedbacks on action plan? Guys, are you working on this? Team, are you working on this? Team, are you working on action plan? If you can't do action plan, you can't become implementer. So you need to have proper action plan. Yeah. Achini මොකද සද්ද එන්නේ? Achini බණ්ඩාර. Right. Can I get some action plan? All right. Okay. Getting my feedback.
So I will describe this because with the time restriction, I just like draft the things.
Okay.
So the action plan for for a fresher, if some fresher come to the company, so
All right. Interesting.
yeah. So the action plan is to the uncompetence that particular fresher to make a competent person. So first, there is a schedule that we do have to go for, the induction trainings. So
Okay.
he should have to completed the first induction training about the overview of the company, and also go and visit the places, and also about the GMP, HSC, and those all these things need to be covered. And it is if he is completed all these things, he is granted to the next training sessions. So if he is not covered all these things, so in the app it says the red colored ones. And afterwards, after all these trainings are covered, so the next thing is they evaluate about that particular person through a paper and the interview based, uh, like the monthly it is doing. And also uh, from the morning meetings also he can gather the knowledge. So with these actions after completion, the 3 months and 6 months, so evaluation periods are coming for that particular person, and from that the evaluations are done and identifying the gaps of that particular person and giving another trainings. The trainings are granted for that particular person, and if it is competent then he can go for the line and start the process. So that's the basic action plan. The monthly the evaluations are conducted.
Okay, I think like Nadisha basically explain the plant operator, right? This is a worker category.
Yes.
Yeah, so worker, unskilled worker to skilled worker action plan, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Very nice, very nice. That's fantastic. So, like right now, because this is a kind of a high risk activity, because Nadish, like right now industry we are suffering from high turnover, right? Like people won't retain in the industry. So this action plan, how fast you can train the person. So these are kind of a requirement. Excellent, thank you. So I hope when we discuss this, others will get idea about this. So we have one feedback from Leshani, not Leshani, Chatura. Chatura said, uncompetency person, competency people. Okay. So Nadish
It's a
and
both.
Chatura,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I log with my brother's one. It means
This is
so.
the same thing, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
same.
Okay, okay. So if you can elaborate this, like uncompetency person, you can rate like out of rate like 10 1 to 10, you can say maybe rating is 2 incompetent, and then you want to make it 8 competent person. So then you can quantify, right? So that, of course, thank you very much. Chatru, thank you very much for elaboration. And then Leshani, okay. Action plan for laboratory. Laboratory setup infrastructure, 1 to 3 months. Interesting. Ensure lab space. Ensure lab space. Install essential equipment. Proper waste disposal. Responsibility lab manager, safety officer. Equipment maintenance and calibrate every 6 months. That is actually ongoing work. Calibrate of instrument, maintain logs, establish emergency repairs, responsible lab technician, equipment vendor, safety and compliance, 6 months, conduct safety training, compliance with the rated bodies, ISO, FDA, implement emergency protocol, responsibility, safety of it. I think like this is done by Leshani. Leshani, if we can elaborate this more. So there are two activities you are talking about. One is a laboratory setup. So laboratory setup, maybe you start with the funding, whether you have a fund and then you design the location. So you can't just like, not like normal manufacturing or house, you can't just bring the laboratory. So you have to be specific whether this laboratory is a microbiological or chemical laboratory. Yeah. So then it depends. And then whether this lab in this lab, if it is microbiology, are you doing pathogen? Are you doing like food testing or wastewater? So then you need to have a separation. So you plan out. So then you need to allocate a team members. Like there will be a people who manage the funding. There will be a team who work on the infrastructure, engineering team. There will be a technical team who purchase the equipment. All right. So these has to be a project plan, timeline and all. So then after you set up the laboratory, right? After you set up the laboratory, you can develop the operational part. How are you going to develop the operation? So we have a friend from like Subhadanim, Yugadhanim, right? So like this power plant actually like they go with the two-phase project plan. One, setting the power plant, that's the biggest role. So setting power plant, like engineering work, electrical, civil, lot of work will be there. And then with the OME manufacturers, they go for the operational part. So that's the second phase. So same thing you can plan out, right? Leshani, hope is clear. I'm like these informations are in the chat, so others also can check. Leshani, is it clear? Nishan, is it clear to you? I hope it's clear, right? Clear to others. Okay, thank you. Then Sanjeevan, the OSHA's office action plan, you could then plan also a structured 6-month timeline to enhance environment, health, and safety compliance. First month, in this first month, in initial HS audit will be conduct to assess compliance with CE, NEA, and a 1445 standard. So Sanjeevan, you maybe work with Mr. Kamal, right? 1445 standard, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Standard, identify gaps and setting priorities. And the second month will focus on safety training for employees, covering PPEs, usage, fire safety, and emergency response, alongside air and water quality monitoring for pollutants such as SOx, NOx, and effluent. In the third month, risk assessment will be carried out in hazardous areas, particularly fuel handling and boiler operation, followed by fire drill and updates to the emergency response plan. The fourth month will introduce hazardous waste management plan, ensuring proper handling of oil spills and chemicals while also monitoring hearing conservation and ventilation system. The fifth month will focus on incident reporting improvement, implementing corrective action from past audit, and conducting an emergency response simulation to test readiness. Finally, the 6 month, the effectiveness of EHS program will be evaluated with the compliance report prepared and new target set for continuous improvement. This structured approach ensure regulatory compliance, workplace safety, and environmental sustainability at the power plant. Superb. Sanjay, this is superb. Only thing what you can do is uh, you have identified all the tasks, and then maybe different tasks has a different responsibility. Like your EHS team cannot take all the tasks, like covering PPEs usage. So purchasing PPEs will be done by different people, right? And then emergency response, you might need to work with the fire team. So try to identify the task. Task is already there. Identify the responsibilities. Then the timeline is almost perfect. Sanjivani, you're good with that, right? So identify the responsibilities. Otherwise, everything will be in your court. You got my point, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So because otherwise you and Mr. Kamal has to do everything by yourself, which you can't do. That's operation is huge. You need to bring engineers, you need to bring purchasing guys into that. Right. Okay. Team, I think like we are clear, right? We are very much clear with this area. So anything else you want to add anything? Because these are very important part. If you miss out all these things, the ISO main like the quality is not there. Right. So you need to include all these things. So then your ISO system will be very live. Right. Now we complete the action plan. So you develop action plan for your context analysis, opportunity risk. You develop action plan for need and expectation. That's again risk opportunity. And then you develop action plan to improve your processes. That's again risk and opportunity. Now we complete that part. Now this is most important part, right? The quality objective and planning to achieve them. So organization shall establish quality objectives and relevant functions, relevant processes, need for quality management system. The quality objective shall be consist with the quality policy. So we know about that, right? So when you develop the quality policy, you see, okay, quality policy should, I mean, like, should be facilitate for the quality objective. The policy said, like, it should facilitate. Now it says consist with the quality policy, and then it should be measurable. You can't just say we want to maintain excellent customer satisfaction. How do you measure the excellent customer satisfaction? Can you measure? You can't. So it should be tangible, right? Customer satisfaction level, you're going to measure it. So it should be measurable. Take into account applicable requirements. So whatever, if there's any customer requirement, legal requirement, you need to consider that. Be relevant for the conformity of the product and service to the enhancement of customer satisfaction. Whatever, the now we talk about the power plant. Otherwise, that's so your power plant mean the power frequency has to be common and then uninterrupted power supply. So that's the customer satisfaction. The product, silver mill, your like Tetra Pak product, cannot be damaged, cannot be bloat, expiry date has to be there. So those are the key requirement. And whenever customer wants, product should be there. And the taste has to be like constant. Like, you can't have different tastes. Similar product, you can't have different tastes, right? Depend on the batch. So it should be same, right? So these are the customer satisfaction. And then once you develop, be monitored, be communicated, be updated as appropriate, and organization maintain documented information of quality objectives, right? So now we are going to develop quality objectives. Team, now you are coming from different organization. So can you develop quality objectives for your organization? See, now I got one feedback, like some, I think, Dushanti, right? Leshani tried to set up a lab or run a lab. So what are the quality objectives for lab? When somebody give a sample, they want, there was a certain time frame. You need to do testing, right? So there's a certain time frame. So people want to complete testing, hand over the test results within the agreed timeline. You say, okay, I need 48 hours. So you deliver within 48 hours. That's one KPI. So, and specified timeline you need to agree. That's one KPI. So you can monitor, right? So the sample receiving time, results dispatch time, you can monitor. If there's a deviation, you can check. And then sample receiving and the accuracy. So for the lab, accuracy is very important. Your results, you have to be sure about your results. So the accuracy is the second thing. You can monitor. So maybe you can send sample and with the other lab and get the results. So that's the accuracy part. And what about other things? So the competency of the people, the qualification, competency of the people. That's the 3 KPIs, right? That's good enough. So consultancy firm like us, we have to make sure maintain on-time delivery, right? So we agreed with the customer within 6 months, we complete the project. We complete the project within 6 months. Customer satisfaction, way we talk, way we visit, you will say, okay, 85% plus objective. And then say one example, now production house like Silver Mill, the quantity, the tonnage per month. So export order, we need to send 240 footers per month, right? This tonnage. So this particular machine overall equipment efficiency, you have to maintain this. Customer complaint, we have to maintain 0 level, right? Customer satisfaction, 95 plus level. And then per pack energy consumption. If you're talking about sustainability, you can include that. Per pack carbon footprint, you can talk about that. So all will be KPIs. Now, I want most of you to develop KPIs. And then universities, can you develop KPIs? The pass rate. You have a 75 people in the batch. How many of them are passing? So maybe post-delivery activities. How soon people can get the jobs? How many of them are going for a higher studies? So that can be a KPI, right? And then maybe you can do an industry survey. What is the competency level about the graduates? So if you talk about industry, if you talk from the industry, there are some universities, industry has a very positive feedback. Oh, we love to take graduates from that particular universities or institute. And there are some institute and universities, industry has a very bad impact. No, we don't want graduates from that particular university or institute. So that's the feedback. So you can get that feedback, right? So that's one thing. And then this time consumption for syllabus, and then how many times syllabus and the industry the maturity, compatibility. So you can do this KPIs. So can we take 5 minutes and develop KPIs? I want few more feedbacks. Now I'm getting less feedbacks. I need more feedbacks, guys. I need more feedbacks. I believe you guys had a heavy lunch. So we need to wind up now. So I need more feedback, 7, 8 feedbacks. Guys, can I get 7, 8 feedbacks for KPIs, objectives for your particular organization? Maybe university, maybe your industry, or maybe you can develop KPIs for yourself, but don't share it with us, right? Keep it to yourself, right? But the organization industry, just share with me. Can we do that? Tim, can we do that? We'll take 5 minutes. Can we do that? Guys, wake up. You want to have a tea, plain tea? Actually, thank you. Nadish, you want to have plain tea or what? So after this,
we do.
after this, we'll have plenty, right? So I give 5 minutes. Give me good KPIs. Thank you, guys. So I'll wait for 5 minutes. Yeah. For the organizers, right? So right now we have only 306 numbers people. So I will sign the certificate only for this 306. Now 305. So I'll take the screenshot after the program. Because I had to assure about the quality of the program. So if people come just appeared and 1 hour they were here and then after that they go and then if they get a certificate for uh, like you know implement a program, I don't think it's work. That doesn't work, right? So the organizers are here, right? So you take the screenshot at the end of the program, and then the names will be there. So I'll be signing only for that numbers. Pushpika, I guess that's okay, right?
Yeah, we can get the detailed information using our this 365 platform, sir.
All right. Okay. So people who have there throughout the day, only we will issue the
Yeah,
certificate. Others we are
yeah.
not going to issue, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, we'll take 5 minutes and we'll do that.
So I'm logged with my brother's one. Is it okay, right? Because
So
I'm
your brother will
Chatura
get a
Prasad,
certificate. Your brother will get a certificate.
but I have included my name.
That's okay. So Nadish, you goes as an Nadisha Prasad, though,
Yeah, Nadesha Prasad is my brother, and my name is Chatura Prasad.
all right. Okay. Can you change it? Is it possible?
It cannot because I don't have account for the Microsoft Teams. So
Okay.
I log
Okay.
with
So
the brothers one.
all right. Okay. So Pushpika, maybe the organizing team can make us special note. Otherwise, your brother will be lucky. See, that situation happened to me after I signed a certificate, one of my friend in the industry, he called me and asked, Rasita, you have done a training program, online training program for HACCP implementation. And I'm like, before the interview, how can you do the HACCP implementation online? So then one of the company CEO asked, I asked like, whether have you done the interview? He said, no. I said, okay, please go ahead and do the interview. And then we'll have this conversation again. So he interviewed and came back to me and said, okay, look, that guy is really good. He knows about the subject. So I said, even online, you can do that because if physically I had to train maybe 300 plus people is impossible, right? It will be the same, but with this technology, we can do that. So it's cutting down a lot of traveling costs, accommodation cost, and if you use it in a proper way. So that's why, if I issue a certificate for everybody, that's maybe unfair for the industry, right? People might think how I'm going to do the training, like online training for implementer. But in this scenario, like you guys going through the process, you do the checklist, you try to develop the format. That's fair enough. You understand the standard requirement and then you convert it into industries. So I believe that's fair enough. So any feedbacks? So now you're going to develop objectives for you. Okay, super. Right. I got one feedback from Santosh Kodagoda. Right, Santosh, you said university KPIs. Retention rates. Santosh, what do you mean by retention rate? How many people come at the beginning and then how many are completing within 4 years, right? I believe. So that's so you can measure. So like this SMART concept, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. So that's agreed. And then graduation rate. You have 100 people, you only 20 people will graduate, right? Student faculty ratio, agreed. Staff motivation, interesting. Like there are some standard called you can set staff motivation level also, because like if I'm not motivated to do this training program, and if somebody push me to do this training program, and you just have to do this, like my deliverables will be totally different, right? So motivation, interesting. So Santosh, how are you going to measure the staff motivation? If Santosh can speak up bit. Santosh, yeah.
Sir,
Santosh is, yeah.
so actually, it can be measured example for you because you have heavy motivation for teach for us. Normally, this time is 2 p.m. That means that it is a very boring time period, but you are teach well. That's I identify the all of the staff.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Santosh. I think like you try to measure staff motivation from the customer perspective, right? So you're not interviewing the staff. You try to get the feedback from the student. Yeah, that's what you try to do, right? So you do a survey from the student, asking to evaluate each and every staff, and then get a rating. Yeah, that's what you try to do, right, Santosh?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Excellent. That's one way. So I try to identify, it maybe sometimes like you can do other way, like, you can give a questionnaire to me and ask about the motivation level, or otherwise you are getting a feedback from customer to evaluate me. Mama lecture that kind of thing. So staff motivation. Excellent. This is fantastic. If you can implement this, that would be ideal, right? 109,000. Right. Let's see. We are getting more feedbacks. Allow this. So key performance indicators, KPI for Department of Food Science and Technology. So end of this program, I think like you're going to set a lot of KPIs for your department. Academic excellent. Graduation rate, percentage, student completing program on time, excellent. Student performing average, GPA, research output, yeah. So research output, this is very interesting. Research output. We all did research, and then we develop papers, we present, but after that nothing happened. Right. So I don't know, like, your seniors or maybe super seniors, if you evaluate, like everybody did research, right? So after that, nothing will happen. So including myself, right? So this is fantastic KPI. If you can implement, like, it will come, like, give like, indication about the success rate of the research. Because like, we do academic research and then we put it in the library, that's it. So those academic research are not converted into industries. So industry, they have a separate way of doing it, right? Or maybe industry and academics are not aligned. So that's one output. So if you can do this KPI will, like, open a lot of eyes, right? So that's one interesting part.
So
Faculty
sorry
to
to
start.
bother. There is
Yeah.
there is a like Columbus University student has initiated a Generation Alpha in order to
Mm,
bridge the gap between the researchers and the industry, because
mm.
they are doing that thing that to bridge the gap, because the industry people and the research people, we don't meet in one particular place, no. So they
Yes.
are doing that right now, the Generation Alpha. So the Perada University and the other guys also can reach them out, and I will uh, put the contact, and you can contact them, and because you can because I think because I was also at the university, and we do so much of business projects and so on things, but we we don't have any like opportunity to pitch that in the industry. So many researchers are on
Yes.
the the university, but not pitch, and actually the innovations are not being like identified in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So I think that should be addressed, and there are so many people voluntarily means they are because I was there, and they are they like to like hatch program, and there are many programs at the Colombo Scare Hub site, and some sort of places, so you can pitch that your new product development and other things, and you can so they are helping to make the marketing and the other things, and also they will purchase your products also. So there is a
Yes.
platform is building up, and I think students and as university students and the innovative thinkers, we have to pitch that one. Other than that, I think because we want to improve ourselves, and also we have to do something to Sri Lanka also. So I think that will help you all, and I will share the contact, and you can contact that particular person and go for your the entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial business, or your your future marketing strategies and so on things. Uh, Sorry for the bother, and I think that that should be addressed, sir. That's why.
Yeah, Chatura, like you're even though you are said Nadisha, you are not Nadisha, you are Chatura, right? So
I'm Chitra.
yeah, Chatura, like thank you very much, because see, now nowadays, when you do a training program, like not in Sri Lanka yet, but when you do the training program in other countries, they ask like, what is your ROI, return of investment on this training program, right? It's not the money we earn, but these are the things we really contribute to the program. See, if you can communicate this with the Peradiniya team, right, this will be very handful. And then like this cross-functional communication, all this conversation came because of this KPI, right? So who did this KPI? Nuanta, thank you very much. Initiation, right? So this is
Sir,
a excellent, Nuanta. So you
sir,
talk to yeah, Nuanta.
we also uh, present our developed product in the ProFood ProFat exhibition
Yes, yes, yes,
as a
yes.
Society of Food Science and Technology.
Yeah,
University of
ProFood is a one platform. I think we are getting industries also, I know a lot of industries, they they visit this university. You have a separate area, so university areas just
Yes,
to
sir.
understand the new product. So that's one thing. So maybe your KPI would be really appreciate, if you can measure this, how many industries they absorb your research, and then faculty to student ratio. This is interesting. Right now, we have research and innovation, number of research publication in peer review journal, agreed. Research funding, screen grant, okay, agreed. Patent, yeah, patent and new product development. So we are very, very less, right? So if you compare to China, India, patent products, very less, but somebody can challenge the population, but again, it's very less. So come on, guys, where's the industry people? So all university KPIs are coming up, no industry KPIs. So let's see. Uh, so KPI for Department Business Administration, graduation rate, student completion agreed on time, job placement, yeah, interesting. Um, Employment or starting business with 6 months, interesting, super. And student retention, year-to-year continuous rate, yeah. Internship, participation in industry platform placement, agreed. Faculty expertise, percentage on PhDs and industry expert, agreed. Entrepreneurial success, students startup launch, research output, paper case studies published, industry partnership, collaboration with lectures, research and consultancy, student satisfaction, post faculty and career support feedback. Yeah. So you can measure the student satisfaction ratio, Alumni success, graduation in leadership roles and higher studies, agreed. Product quality KPIs, microbiological content. Okay, finally we have something. Industries also, like we stick to university now, product quality, temperature and time compliance, quality test. So don't go for temperature and time compliance, but go for quality test pass rate. So that's your KPI. So the temperature time compliance, that will be operational part. Let them do that. That comes under your CCP or OPRP, whatever. But quality test pass rate, like, product quality test pass rate, that keep as a KPI. And then um, equipment downtime, average, so your overall equipment efficiency, batch processing time, customer satisfaction KPIs, compliance rate, product returns rate. What do you mean by product returns rate? Mistika, what do you mean by product return rate? It's mean like, without selling, it come back kind of a thing. Product return rate. Mistika, if you can speak up, what do you mean by product return rate? Maybe market return, right? I guess. Withdraw, without selling. Yeah, agree. Thank you. Product return rate. Water usage per batch, superb. So water, nowadays we talk about water footprint. Like in food industry, we are using the massive amount of water, right? Sometimes, like, even in the washing process, CIP process, cleaning in place process, we use a huge amount of water, right? So if we can cut down that, so that is waste reduction. So waste audit, water audit is now, it's kind of become like, a requirement for the industry right now. So like, especially in the food industry, say if you talk about if you're using a reusable water, the reusable bottles, right? Especially in the glass, like bottle packing lines. So the amount of water goes into washing process is lot, right? Financial KPI, cost per list of milk product. Okay, agreed. Then revenue growth, employee engagement KPI, training completion rate, employee attention rate, compliance of regulatory KPI, regulatory inspection rate, audit findings. Don't go for audit findings because, yeah.
I have some idea about can we give points for employment with where they what are they what they complete to overall one day, and we can use to rate them with their performance.
You can do that, Nuanda. Like, see, especially in the garment manufacturing, this thing called work study. We do, like, we call like, SME calculation, and then we identify the number of pieces can, like, make by the particular person. So then beyond that particular pieces with the quality, right, without defects, they will basically getting incentives. So I think, like, Nuanta, we both talk about the same thing, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So after
I
that,
supposed to task how completing quality.
yes, completing tasks. You can give incentive, but I have not seen this methodology, like, the work study methodology apply in our industries, like, especially food and all. But garment, like, garment industries or garment related industries, they heavily use this work study part. But in our industry, FMCG or food, we don't use this very much, actually. Yeah, so I agree with you. We can do that. That you can set KPIs. But in our industries, we use OEE, overall equipment efficiency. That part we use, right? Yeah. So I think the audit findings don't take unless it is an internal audit, right? So if it is external audit, don't take it as a KPI, because like external audit, like push the auditors, like, you say, okay, we set KPIs for zero NCs. Don't put the finding that will, affect me personally, you go into that level. So don't, I'm like, unless, better not to put KPIs for audit finding. That's what I said, right? So if you want, you can, but my advice is not to put audit KPI for audit finding, because let the audit finding comes, because that's an improvement point, right? Because the moment you set zero NCs, people tend to push auditors, or you try to do something not to get findings. Yep. So that's not the correct way. So let the findings comes, and then even even standard like advanced standard like BRC, standard were basically give some provision. You can have this amount of minor findings. So to get a double plus rating, I'm pretty sure you don't even Silvermill, they have some findings. Any organization, they have findings, right? So don't worry about the findings, numbers. So
Yeah,
better,
there are we could have in its minor NCs, we can have findings, observations and the minor.
minor NCs. Yeah,
So
you
yeah.
can have. You can do that. So that's my advice. If you want, you can put. But we have come across some organization not in Sri Lanka, but in some other neighboring countries, their top management put KPIs on the audit findings, zero audit findings. So everybody is so pressurized. And then top management, they ask one question is how many findings? So you're violating your KPIs. So that pressure is there. So don't get into that unnecessary pressure, because it's not, because auditor has basically audit the sample, right? He challenged the system. So if there's a finding, is a finding, we have to correct it. So that's why we want auditors. We want them to come and challenge our system. Yeah. Right. So Susita said objective for the herbal processing company, improving receiving quality of grade 1 quality herbals by 10% by the conducting 20 of farmer awareness training. Okay, so you have a lot of things. So improving the receiving quality of grade 1 quality herbs by 10% by conducting 20 of farmer awareness training for each geographical regions at the end of financial year by 2025. Okay, this is fantastic. So you said improving receiving quality of grade 1 quality herbs by 10%. So you need to increase the 10%, and by conducting 20 farmers awareness training, right, within the financial. So you can monitor this. I think you covered everything, right? I think we covered all. So did I get I think we're getting similar, right? Okay, Chatra has shared the information as well. So I think all we are covered with the objective part, right? So see, if you can do all these things in any organization, right? So ISO 9000 2015 is a very live standard, right? Because you are doing everything as per ISO, right? So now element number 7, support, right? This is now life is very easy, right? So to do your project, to do your KPIs, right? You actually need facilities, resources, right? So resources has to be provided by the top management. Can you remember when you go for the element number 5, leadership part, right? Leadership basically said, okay, look, the facilitation of the resource allocation has to be done by the top management. The capabilities of N constraint on existing internal resource, what need to be obtained from external provider. So the people, organization shall determine and provide the persons necessary for the effective implementation of quality management system and for the operation for control of processes. So people, we need to have a proper people for organization. So, and then we talk about measurement traceability part, right? Sorry, organization knowledge. I'll come back to the measurement traceability, right? Organization knowledge mean the organization shall determine the knowledge necessary for the operation for process and its achieve conformity of the product and service. The knowledge shall be maintained and be made available to the extent necessary When addressing changes, needs, and trends, the organization shall consist with the current knowledge and determine how to acquire or access any necessary additional knowledge and required update. Internal resource. So, source intellectual property, knowledge gained from the experience, lesson learned from the failure and successful project, capturing, sharing undocumented knowledge and experience, the results of improvement of process, product and service, external resource, example, standard academic conference, gathering knowledge coming for this kind of program. So these things are there, right? So this part I think very straightforward, but the competency, this is very important. In any organization, determine the necessary competencies persons doing work under the control that affects the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system. Ensure that these persons are competent to do the basics of appropriate education, training, and experience, while applicable, taking action to acquire the necessary competencies and evaluate the effectiveness of the action taken. Retain appropriate documented information as evidence of competence. Note, application action can include, for example, the provision of training to do, monitoring of and reassignment of currently employed person, or hiring of training of the competent person, right? So competency can be the knowledge, skills, attitude. So here the standards talk about education, training, and experience. The attitude is very important, right? Now, what I want you to do is now you identify few areas, risk areas, right? You identify few areas like, setting objectives, right? Auditor, or maybe you identify competencies of top management. You identify competencies of trainer, you identify the lecturer. So all these objectives, right? You identify few objectives, right? So when you identify objectives, these objective has to be driven by a particular designated person. So it can be an engineer, it can be a quality assurance manager, it can be a purchasing manager, it can be a trainer, right? So these are the competent person. So now I want you to identify, do a competency mapping. So this competency mapping, before you do the competency mapping, you need to do identical competencies. Say, for example, if you want to become a ISO 9001 2015 trainer, right? So you need to have a competencies. So you say, okay, this person has to have a degree. This person has to have a ISO 9001 2015 lead auditor program, right? The qualification, right? Then this person has to those are minimum education qualification. So then you need to have at least, maybe you say, okay, experience. So we'll go by one. At least you need to have at least 10 to 15 years industry experience, right? Working in a different industry. And then as a trainer, right, you need to have interpersonal skills, your language skills, your communication skills. And then, of course, this part, your attitude is really mattered, right? So if you have kind of a negative attitude, I just want to finish the program, that doesn't serve the purpose, right? So you need to have good positive attitude for a particular person. Say, for example, so these are trainer, say QA manager. We take quality assurance managers. Most of you are in the food industry, so you want to become a QA manager. So what are the education qualification? You might need to have a food degree, right? Or maybe you need to have a diploma in quality management system. So those are education. So if you're getting into a coconut industry, you might say, okay, I need to have at least 1 year, 2 year experience in coconut industry as an assistant QA manager or QA executive, right? Or maybe if you want to become a QA manager, you say, okay, at least 5 year coconut industry experience, another 5 year other similar industry experience. Better to have a cross-functional experience, right? And then what are the skills you require? A QA manager. You need technical skills. You need a little bit of about the machines. You need about the packaging, right? You need about the product quality. And then on top of that, you need to know about the customer care skills. Why? If there's a customer complaint, QA manager should go and talk to the customer, right? Not only the marketing guy. So these marketing guys are meeting the happy customers, always meeting the happy customers. They talk about the business, the profit and all. But QA people, they always go and meet the dissatisfied customers, right? Your customer is not happy. So then you need to have a customer handling skill. Not only customer handling skill, you need to have a special customer handling skills for dissatisfied customers, angry customers. Right? I saw some program like, how to handle unhappy, angry customers. Right? So customers ready to kill you. And then you have to go and convince him to buy your product continuously, or you have to help him. Right? So those skills are required. Right? So these are the skill metrics. So now, can we develop skills? I want you to develop, like, maybe some of you are coming from industry, right? Already you have a designation, right? I want you to develop a skill for your job JG. Like, say, you may be an executive, you may be an engineer, you may be a QA manager, QA executive, or maybe you are a student and you looking for a particular job. Say, we might have a bulk of student here. So you are looking for a, you're looking for a student. You're looking for a particular job, right? So this particular job, what I'm going to do. So I want to become a production executive. So what are the skills you need to obtain? Can we do this study? Can we do this study? Tim, can we take 5 minutes and do this?
So can you repeat the task?
Okay. Okay. My task is, like, you have to develop competency metrics, right, for your job role. So it will be an ideal competency. Don't worry about what you have right now. Say my designation is right now, we'll say trainer. So what are the ISO 9000 trainer, right? So what are the education I need to have? What are the trainings I should get? What are the experience I need to have? And what is my skills, right? What is my attitude? So can you develop, like, a competency for ISO 9000 trainer? So you may be a QA manager. So what is the competencies you need under this guideline? Or maybe there are students, they want to become, like, production manager, production executive, or QA manager, or purchasing manager, or supply chain manager, whatever. So that particular job role, can you develop a, like, competency metrics? You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. We'll take 5 minutes, and then during that time you can share this with me. Yeah. So if anybody has a question, you can talk to me. I'm here. Maybe use the chat, WhatsApp, both. These competency metrics and everything is kind of a mandatory requirement, even 22 BRC. These are kind of requirements.
Sir,
Yes.
according to the student of food science and technology, I suppose that this type of competency metrics
Okay.
So the competency area should be food chemistry, microbiology, food processing and engineering, and product development.
Okay.
Like area and the
That-
under the food chemistry, he or she need to have the understanding about the composition of food and reaction during processing, like, and
Okay.
the skills, how they analyze that those characteristic, and how to conduct the laboratory test and apply chemistry principles, and
Hmm.
attitudes, um, uh, suppose attention to detail and commitment to food safety.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
us.
So you develop a skill matrix for the student, right? What
Yes,
about
sir.
what about their training? So you basically focus on the education part, and the education and the training will be different, right? See
Yes.
now, what are the trainings they need? Like, you can touch upon the industry training, those kind of things also you can touch upon.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, say yeah.
Like training in laboratory, like
Training in
training
laboratory,
program.
industrial training, yeah. Maybe like, you maybe get training on GC operation or HPSC operation, those kind of a
Yes.
thing. So those are special training, right? So maybe you think about that part. So then you have a special training. So
Okay, sir.
maybe you have a special training on SLS method, like, you that also, like, you can include that.
Okay, sir.
Right. That's correct. So this is the what about others?
So this is JD about the quality assurance executive.
Okay.
So overall, to implement the all quality assurance system in the factory, raw materials to finished goods. So
Mhm.
the key responsibilities and the duties are ensuring implementing all coordination functions smooth at all the time,
Okay.
strategic decision making with a QA manager and maintain all ingredients raw materials according to quality standards, implementation of decisions taken by the manager, and the represent weekly monthly meeting to attend the activities delegated by the department head, communicate critical valuable information to the uh, reporting manager, ensure relationship among all employees and smooth function of quality assurance activities, have to obtain ISO, HACCP, BRC, FSSC and other quality related certificates recommended by the company, maintain all quality record and assist quality team, and follow up factory quality improvements with maximum utilization of available resources, manage and guide all production staff, quality staff to achieve set quality goals with consultation with the line manager, act as a member of food safety team and arrange audit to obtain relevant certification consultation with the quality manager, implementation of corrective and preventive actions, and get overall responsibility in the absence of the line manager. And that particular person need to have like holding the bachelor's degree related to food science and having 2 years experience in the manufacturing industry or FMCG company, and with having sound knowledge in the IFSO subsystem and the customer feedback systems. So those things, and the training in the ISO 2018 is a mandatory requirement.
Okay. I think like Chatura basically start with the JD part, right? Job description part.
Yes.
So you basically explain the expectation or maybe their responsibilities. Then finally, like to cover these responsibilities, You need to have this education. You need to have this training. You need to have this experience. You cover that part. Chandra, but one more thing, you need to have, when you become a QA person, you always, your life is not very smooth because you have to do certain unpleasant activities. What do you mean by unpleasant activities is you need to go and reject the production. Yeah, right. It's not pleasant thing, right?
Yes.
So everybody work hard to get the production, but you see you're it's not in line. So you go and reject the product. So you might need to sometimes you might need to fight with the production. So
Yeah.
conflict resolution. So that if you can bring that attitude, the skills and attitude, maybe negotiation skills, attitude. So then their competency level will be very good. So everybody can get a degree. I mean not everybody. So the people
Yeah.
who go to the university they get a degree, right? So
Yeah.
then when you go to university you come up with degree somehow. So I'm then only we select. So the sample we are talking about the graduates. So everybody has a degree, everybody has a lead or the qualification, but then from that you can differentiate their attitude, their skills, and their negotiation skills, right? So those are the key factors. So in your competency, if you can include that, that will be great. You got,
Yeah.
Chatru, you got my point, right?
Yeah, I got the point because the
So
real-time experience is we also daily we are fighting with the production and the
you
engineering
kill,
team. Yeah,
yeah,
so
you kill each other. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
norm.
so we have to select like the competent people for that like negotiation and that particular person should have strength to compete with that like
Yes,
situation. So
yes.
yeah, that should be included. Thank you, sir.
If you can include that, that will be fine, fantastic. So let's
Yes.
see. Thank you, Chatura. And then key component of quality assurance executive, quality compliance has a GMP standard has to be there. So that is the training, product testing, inspection, root cause analysis, yeah, analysis skills, soft skills, okay, communication, problem solving, yeah, excellent. Who's this? Uh, So Viranga, thank you very much. I think you covered this part, right? Viranga covered this communication, problem solving, leadership, teamwork. So those requirements are covered. Regulatory compliance. Yeah, you need to know about legal requirement, audit, inspection, documentation, continuous improvement. See, as a QA person, legal requirement is a must. And then if you think this QA person is an auditor, right, and then he should know about the legal requirement in the particular country. When you travel, you have to know about that other country's legal requirement. So let's see if we are getting feedbacks. Knowledge, communication, teamwork, problem solving, knowledge, skills need to be practiced. Yeah. Attitude. Then we covered that part. 9,000 GMP. Compliance, data driven, documentation. Okay. So I got feedback from Kushani. So she covered 9,000 requirement, documentation skills, risk management skills, attitude, and then training and communication. Yeah. Right. I think we covered this part. Okay. Hansika තමයි මේ අර රවුමත් දාලා ලියන්නේ නේ. Hansika නේ. Yeah. So Hansika said QA manager, food sector. Degree in food science, degree dairy science, biochemistry, food and similar postgraduate qualification in at least 5 years of relevant QA. Yeah. So if you want to become a QA manager, I don't think 5 year will sufficient because because there is a big role, right? So maybe you can reconsider the number of years. Managerial or supervisory category, having supervised food problem solving. Yep, I think like we are good. So Hansika, thank you very much. So getting more feedbacks. So this is the same thing, right? Okay, let's move on. So I think like this is very important. See, all these things are related, right? Like, when you develop a proper process map will link to your JDs because all the responsibility, accountability will be there. And then from that JD, you identify what are the competencies you need. So this is very interesting. So all interconnected. We did the case study, and then you do awareness, and then this training program. You work on quality policy, quality objectives, their contribution. Their contribution, quality management system, contribution to effectiveness of the quality management system, and then implementation of non-conformity quality products. So see, like you can do training program on quality policy. Then your quality objectives. You can see organization like, they have a dashboard, right? They communicate that with, and then if there's a customer complaint, you can communicate with that. So all these things you can do as a kind of awareness. So you need to have a training plan, right? And then communication is very important, right? Why communication is important? Why communication is important? Because organization determine internal and external communication relevant to the quality management system, including on what it will communicate, when to communicate, with whom to communicate, how to communicate, who communicates part. So why this is so important? Why we standard talk about communication part? Why this is so important? Why communication is so important? See, this is very important when it's come to, it's easy to communicate. Like, if there's a, like, bulk of you are coming from food background. So we have some people from other non-food. All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll have a tea break. I'm like, continuing without tea break. Right. Okay. So we'll take 15 minutes. So now 3:38. So shall we start at 3:30? We don't have much to do, but we are almost there. So can we start at 3:30? Organization team, like you're okay with that? So we'll take maybe 20 minutes break. I'm sorry, even morning I didn't give a break. I continue. So we'll take a 20-minute break. Guys, you okay?
Yes, sir. We are okay with that.
Yeah, so we'll take a good break, have a plain tea or something, and then come back. So we'll take 3:30. Organizing team, like you can take over. Yeah, so 3:30 we'll back.